What up? It's Optiks here with itstheBino.com. You know, just breaking down what we do. You know, you want to see behind the scenes, this is what we do. What up, this is Optiks. Man, I got into hip-hop, you know, real young. Like, I didn't have the typical story coming up. Like, I didn't come up on like KRS-One or something like that, although I did later. I really got into it through just like different music that I heard, you know, living in Cincinnati. I was out in the suburbs, so like I'd hear like a Sublime record with like a break beat on it, and I'd be like, yo, that's dope, that's different. And, you know, I heard a little bit of hip-hop, obviously I knew what it was. But, you know, I'm talking like younger than 10 years old right now. But then, you know, just got into like Wu-Tang from there. That was definitely the first group that made a big impression on me. And well, I was real into like a lot of the like electronica type stuff, you know, Prodigy, different stuff like that. And so that all kind of just naturally brought me to hip-hop, because it's just sped up hip-hop basically. And then I was doing I had a little computer program, Cakewalk. I would do like these little like MIDI sounding beats, sounded like it was a computer game or something, but that's just what kind of got me started. Then, you know, when that got old to me, you know, I was like just like in high school playing sports, doing whatever, and I came across Fruity Loops on the internet. I was just looking for a way to loop up instrumentals, because me and my friends would like freestyle and shit sometimes. And I wanted a way to get, you know, my favorite beats. You know, beats that maybe I couldn't find the instrumental on Napster or like the CD single or whatever. But, you know, it was like the hot shit to me, and I wanted to loop up the end of it. So then I realized this is a program I can make beats with. So I already had a little bit of exposure to that. It was like, it was simple, you know, just learn real fast. And, you know, me and a friend of mine made an album together, sold it in high school, you know. It was just real cool, a lot of good response to it, you know. I mean, it's not like what I'm doing today, but, you know, we were dope, at least to the people in school, and that gave me the inspiration to keep going. So I'd say the way the life of an up-and-coming producer is different than a rapper is like, well, it's a lot less of this, you know. You're not doing a whole lot of interviews, you know. Eventually you do get to that point where you get some recognition, but, you know, there's so many producers right now. You gotta hustle just to be heard. And, like, there's a lot of different ways, you know, that I see other people doing it. You know, a lot of people put out beat tapes on the internet, and they'll like just keep putting them out, and that seems to work for them. You know, there's people who send out beats to every rapper and their mom, you know, and that works for some people. And, you know, like my route, the way that I did it, is I really focused on upcoming artists that I believe in and working with them. You know, like, I'm not going to work with every artist who comes to me, but, you know, Cap, Connor, Blitz, like these guys, you know, I really just believe in them, and they're you know, so when I'm making stuff, I'm thinking of them more often than I'm thinking of, you know, a Jay-Z or like whoever my favorite MCs, Nas, Ghostface, like, you know, I try to make beats for people who I know personally, so I really know where their head is at and what they can bring to it, as opposed to trying to, you know, I think a lot of producers try to give big name artists beats that they've already done. You know, I'm not going to make You Don't Know for Jay-Z, because he already did that. So how am I going to sit here and try to make 20 beats like that and send it to him? You know, he might like it, but he's not going to do it because he's already made that song. Okay, so what's my top 5 producers right now? I mean, this changes every day, because, you know, somebody might not be in there, but they're going to drop a joint tomorrow. That's going to just change my view of them forever. You know, but I'd say top 5 right now. I mean, I've been on a big RZA kick lately. Just listen to a lot of Wu-Tang shit. So, RZA, I mean, Dilla is like the god producer. So I've been really feeling a lot of Pete Rock stuff lately. DJ Premier, of course, and hi-tek. You know, especially being from Cincinnati, hi-tek was like a huge influence on me. And you know, it's cool to see somebody who wasn't just coming from New York or LA, you know, making my favorite shit. You're not just making some shit that was kind of good and you're like, oh, that's cool, somebody from here's making some shit that's good. It was like my favorite shit. So you know, that was really dope and inspirational.